In this video, I'll show you guys how to create your very own chatbot for your business website where you capture leads straight into a CRM. So in this video, what we'll be doing is we're gonna download the sample project, we're gonna configure it, and we're gonna deploy it and add it to your own website. So you don't need to have any coding skills. All you have to do is follow along this video. If you do happen to run into any problem, just go down below in links in the description, join our Discord community, and ask for help if you run into problems. With that being said, let's get started. So here's a quick demo of what we're gonna build today. So this is my agency website, and right here we have the chatbot. It's designed to capture leads for agencies. So I'm gonna say I want to create a AI solution, and now it will ask for the project information like the name and the description. So I'm gonna say the project name is MagicBot, and it will capture leads for agencies, and my budget is $1,000. And now it should ask for my contact information, so I'm gonna provide that right now. I'm just gonna type here a random name and email, and now it should capture the lead and store it in the ClosingDealz CRM. So let's see what it's gonna say. All right, so the lead capture was successful. So right now, let's head over to the ClosingDealz CRM. I'm gonna refresh the page, and it was successful. So right here, we have the contact person, we have the company, and right here down below, we have the email as well. And here is the notes section. So we have the lead generated from the chatbot. So we're gonna know exactly where the leads come from. We have the project description here, we have the budget, and this is the cool stuff. So we have the full conversation with the lead and the chatbot. So when you're about to close deals, you'll know exactly all the questions they asked. So it'll be much easier to close deals. A quick overview over the project is we're gonna have your website, and this is where the chatbot is gonna be, and we're gonna use Voiceflow as the UI for the chatbot. And now the project we're building, that's gonna be the server, and the server is gonna use OpenAI to generate all the responses. And we're gonna store all of the leads that we get from the chatbot in ClosingDealz CRM. And now this is how the whole workflow is gonna look like. Now let's get started. To get started, head over to the GitHub page, and you'll come over here. And basically this is the repository, and what we want to do is we want to fork it, and basically that's gonna copy it to your profile, and then we want to clone it, and that's gonna download it to your computer. Now before we do that, you have to create a GitHub account. I already have one, so I'm just gonna go ahead and fork it. You can click this button here. I'm gonna keep it as it is and create fork. And now it's creating the fork. Now, as you can see, we have now forked this repository to our profile. And now the next step is we have to download this locally. And to do that, we have to install Github Desktop. And as always, all the links will be in the description. Now, once you have installed Github Desktop, make sure to log in with your GitHub account. And the next step is we're gonna click this code button and hit open with Github Desktop and open. Just gonna clone it here. All right, now click on for my own purposes and hit continue. To open the project, we need a code editor, and the next step is we have to install Visual Studio Code. Just search it up and install it for your operating system. Now we can open the project by just opening Visual Studio Code, and we're gonna go ahead and open folder, and we're gonna locate the file we just downloaded. So once you open the project, we're gonna navigate to the source folder. Now here is all the code, and I'm gonna quickly run you through how everything works. So we have the server.js file. This is where the server starts, and we have two different endpoints. We have the start thread endpoint and the chat endpoint. Now the start thread endpoint is every time the user starts a new conversation, and it's going to create a new thread ID, and it will return it, and that will be used for the chat endpoint. So every time a user sends a message, it will use that thread ID, and then it will return the response from the chatbot, and all the logic happens within the service folder. So here we have the assistant.js. So this is the most complicated file in the whole project. I'll try to explain everything as simply as possible. So right here we have the init function. So this is where we create the assistant. So this will basically create the assistant in OpenAI. And as you can see here, we have different parameters. So we have the name, we have the instruction, what type of GPT model you're going to use. In case you have any custom functions, you can also configure the temperature, top P. And right here we have the knowledge base document. So this is basically where you store all your business information. It will help the AI to respond better. And the good thing what we have done here is every time we create a new assistant, if we do that, it will be pretty expensive. So what we have done is we're gonna create a JSON file where it stores the ID for that assistant. So it's gonna reuse the same assistant every time we start the server. Unless you change any parameters or the knowledge base, then it's gonna create a new assistant. The next function, we have the start new thread function. So this is gonna create a new thread ID in OpenAI, and it will return that thread ID. And that's gonna be used for this chat function. So it requires the thread ID argument and the user input. And this is pretty much like all OpenAI stuff. It's pretty complicated. But right here we have like the function handler. So this is in case you have configured any functions. I'll show you that later how to do that. But basically this handles any functions. So throughout the conversation with the AI, it will basically try to call the function. And it's pretty cool stuff, but I'll show you how to do that later. But first, I'll show you the crm.js file. So we are going to use ClosingDealz CRM to store all of our leads, and this is the create lead function. It's pretty simple. So right here we are just sending the lead object, and we're going to use this URL to call the endpoint. And it's pretty simple, not much to explain really. But now I'm just gonna show you guys how to configure the assistant, and we are gonna go to the configuration.js file. So this is the configuration file. This is the most important file and where we'll do the most work. So right here we have assistant instructions. So this is like any other ChatGPT prompt. We just have one very detailed. We also have OpenAI functions. So this is like a list of functions. You can have whatever function you want. We have the create lead function. And this, what's cool about this, it's gonna be triggered throughout the conversation. You just have to mention when it's gonna be triggered. We also have function handlers. So this is basically handles the function. We define what's gonna happen once it's been triggered. And I'll explain everything more detailed, but first I'm gonna explain the assistant instructions. So right here we have assistant's role section. So basically, I'm just explaining what's the purpose for this assistant, and basically it's a lead generation specialist designed to capture leads. And here I mention what type of business do I run. So I have a SaaS AI agency, and basically it's gonna talk about our offers, what do we do, what type of services we offer. And right here we have utilization of information. So I have provided a knowledge base document, so it's this one. And in this document, I have provided all information about my business. So as you can see here, we have like understanding SaaS, what is SaaS? We have about AI, importance of SaaS in modern business, why you should consider SaaS for your business, and basically a bunch of information, our development process, why you should choose our agency, and bunch of stuff. So you can add all information. Maybe you can even add frequently asked questions. As much of information you can add, that's better, and the AI will respond better. So right here we have lead qualification and data collection. So basically we have what type of questions should the AI ask. So we're gonna ask, are you interested in creating a SaaS or AI solution? And it's gonna try to qualify the lead. And as you can see here, we're gonna ask the prospect what type of project they're creating, like the project name. We have the description of the project and the budget. And once it has gathered all that information, then it's gonna try to get the name, email, and optionally the phone number. And then we have the trigger for the CRM entry. So basically once it has gathered all the information, then it's going to try and trigger the function. So the custom function I talked about earlier, so it's the create lead function, this one. And we also have additional guidelines, like this is a bunch of stuff, like here, for example, after it has done the CRM entry, it's going to say a person from our team will contact you shortly. And here we just have stick with the topic. We don't want any weird stuff to be talked about in the chatbot. So this is the functions right here. So this is basically a list of functions, and I just have this one. And what function is, it's basically like a special instructions for the AI. And we have, as you can see here, different properties. And what's cool about this, it's gonna try and capture all of these properties throughout the conversation. Right here we have project name, we have the description, budget, name, email, and phone number. And here we have the required properties, and you can add whatever you want. As you can see, we don't have the phone number here. That's not required for our business. And I mentioned, like, you can add whatever property you want. You don't have to use these ones. Now, the next one is function handlers. So this basically handles the function, and we have the create lead. So make sure you have the exact same name as this one. And it can be anything, it doesn't have to be this, but make sure it's the same name. And arguments, it's basically all of these properties. So project, description, that's basically arguments. And messages, it is the whole conversation between the user and the AI. And now for the ClosingDealz lead request object, we have all of these available fields. Now in our case, we are only using the company, contact person, notes, email, and phone number. If you have noticed, we have like budget, we have the description, and we don't actually see these fields here. So we're gonna store everything in the notes field. So as you can see, we have created a new variable, and basically we typed this here. So when you're about to close deals, you're gonna know where does this lead come from actually. So, and then you're also gonna see the description. And this actually here, it's just a new line, \n, that's a new line. And you're also gonna know the budget for that prospect and the full conversation. And this is the cool stuff. So you'll know the full conversation. So you're gonna have the full context. And when you're about to close the deal, you're gonna know what the questions the user asked. That's pretty much everything. And now I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the last step, which you have to do, and that is go to .env.example, this file here. So these are the environment variables for the project. This one right here is just an example. So what we have to do is duplicate it. So I'm gonna copy it and paste it in the source folder. And what we have to do is rename it and remove example and copy. So make sure it's just .env. And this one right here is the chatbot name. So this is like an identifier for the ClosingDealz CRM. So you know exactly where the lead comes from, and it will be much easier to manage everything. So make sure to put it what you want, but I'm just gonna keep it as chatbot. And right here we have the ClosingDealz API key. And what you have to do is create a ClosingDealz account and just put your API key right here. And the same thing we have to do for the OpenAI API key. Make sure to create an account, add credits, and put the API key right here. And for the OpenAI model, we are going to use GPT-4 Turbo. This one works perfectly fine for our purpose. And here we can configure the output, how the AI is going to respond. So here we have the temperature. You can have a value from 0 to 2. And this controls the randomness of the response. The lower value it is, it will be more focused. And for the top P, these values can be from 0 to 1. And this controls the diversity of the words. And generally, it's recommended to only modify one of these. And you can read more how everything works in the links here. And for the API key, so we can have your own API keys for the server. And you should always have this to true. So basically this makes authorized request to the server. So not everyone will be able to access your server. And you can have any type of string you want, but I'm gonna use a UI ID. So you can search here UID generator. I'm just going to copy this and just paste it right here. And now for the ClosingDealz API key, I'm going to go to ClosingDealz.io. I already have an account, so I'm just going to sign in. So click on the workspace where you want your leads to appear. And I have the basic plan, so the free plan only allows you to have 5 leads. The basic plan has unlimited leads, so unless you're gonna have more than 5, make sure to upgrade. And go to settings and developers and create an API key. I'm just gonna call it test for this video and gonna copy this API key and paste it right here. And now we have to do the same thing for the OpenAI. So visit platform.openai.com, head over to API keys and create a new one. I'm gonna call it test. I'm gonna copy this. All right, and I'm going to keep the temperature as 0.9. This works good. You can always play around and see what works good for your chatbot. And these are all the settings I'm gonna change, and now we can go ahead and test everything. Now these are all the configurations I'm gonna make to this project, and now we can start the server. But before we do that, we have to go and install NodeJS. So this whole project is built on Node.js, so make sure to install it. I already have it installed. Now we need to open a new terminal, and to do that we have to do it in this folder. So I'm gonna right click here and open terminal. And now we can go ahead and install the npm modules, and we can do that by typing npm install. And if you have done it successfully, you'll see this new folder pop up. And now to run the server, we have to type npm start. So this will start the server. And in case you want to close the server, you can always click on Command C or Control C if you're on Windows. And as you can see here, we have created a new assistant, and the server is running on this port right here. And now to test everything, we are going to head over to request.http. So here we have all the endpoints for the project. We have the start thread endpoint and the chat endpoint. And right here we have the API key. So if you have enabled it, make sure to copy it. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy it and make sure to paste it right here and save it. And now before we can do the actual testing, we have to install an extension, and we have to click this button right here and search up REST client and make sure to have this installed. I already have it. And now we can go ahead and actually do some requests. And every time we want to start a new conversation, we have to do this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and click send request. And as you can see, it works, and we got a thread ID. So make sure to copy this. And we're gonna go ahead and paste it right here. And now you can go ahead and type a message. So I'm gonna say, hi, I want to create a AI solution, and go ahead and send request. Now, as you can see, the response was successful. It's asking for the project details, and after that it will ask for the contact information, and then the lead will appear in ClosingDealz CRM. Now you can keep typing here questions for the AI, make sure it's in the same thread ID, and just click send request. And if anything is like weird, you can always modify the instructions or the knowledge base. And once you're happy with everything, then we can go ahead and deploy it. So right now I deployed the server, and you should also deploy it. If you don't know how to do it, make sure to join our Discord, and I'll show you exactly how to do it. Now, once you have deployed it, make sure to head over to voiceflow.com. So this is basically the UI for the chatbot. And in the description of this video, you have to download a template file, and I'm gonna import it right now. So make sure to import it, and we're gonna open it. Click on designer. I'm gonna click on home and edit workflow. And this is how the whole chatbot is gonna work. So right here we start, and it's gonna start with the create thread endpoint to the server. And this is how it looks like, and it's gonna return a thread ID. And right here we can have custom messages initially when we start the conversation. So here I say, hi, I'm CDC Solutions Assistant. So here you can basically add your own agency's name. And here you can add your own offers that you have. I have a SaaS and AI solution as service. And right here we capture the user input and store it in this variable. And now finally we're gonna go to the chat endpoint, and this is where we add the user input and the thread ID. And how it works, it's gonna be in a loop until the conversation ends, and that's pretty much how everything works. And right now everything you have to do is click on this server URL, and we're gonna edit the variable and click on default value, and we're gonna paste it. And make sure to remove this slash. It should look like this. This is the server URL, so I'm gonna hit close. And if you have the API key on your server, make sure to add that as well. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna copy it and just paste it. Now, this is pretty much everything we have to do. So now we can test it out and see how it works. All right, so it says all of these custom messages. So now I'm gonna say, hi, my name is John, and I want to create a AI solution. So right now it should ask for the project name, the description. Let's see. More details, project name, all right. So it's gonna be called, let's say, Magic Bot, and it should capture leads for agencies on their website. So I didn't mention the budget right here, so it should ask, can you please budget for developing Magic Bot? All right, so I'm gonna say 1,000 USD. And now it should ask for my contact information. All right, could you please tell me your email address? All right, so I'm gonna say john@gmail.com. And I'm not gonna provide the phone number, that's optional, so it should still proceed with creating the lead. So let's see how it works. All right, so it says it's been recorded and someone from our team will get in touch. All right, so let's now head over to ClosingDealz, and I'm gonna refresh the page. And let's see if it does appear here, and here it appears. So we have Magic Bot, John, we have the email, and here at notes, it says it's generated from the chatbot, and the description, the project description right here, the budget. And here is the full conversation with the chatbot. So when you're about to close the deals, you'll know exactly what the user asked for, and it will be much easier to close deals this way. And that's pretty much everything how it works. And now we can go ahead and add it to our website. So this is our agency website, and we want the chatbot to appear here in the bottom right corner. And the first thing we have to do is we're gonna head over to Voiceflow and hit on publish. Publish, it's gonna take a while. And make sure to access the source code of your website, and we're gonna hit on embed widget. So now all you have to do is copy this code, and we're gonna go to the source code of the website and go to the very bottom and just click on paste, and make sure it's over the body, and make sure to click on save, and it should appear now on the website, and it's right here. So you can go ahead and click on it, and I'm gonna start a new chat. And everything works as expected. And now if you want to customize everything, you can go ahead and go to the appearance. You can change the color or upload the image, and you can change a bunch of things like the name, description, and you can play around with everything here. And that's pretty much everything for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, comment down below or join our Discord community. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.